Have you ever stopped to wonder if you truly exist? Or is everything you perceive around you just a projection, a creation of your mind, a distorted representation of what you call reality? Great thinkers like Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Galileo Galilei, and even Nikola Tesla have all challenged the very foundations of what's real. They questioned the universe, time, and even human perception. But what lies beyond what we can see? Could everything around us be just a reflection of our consciousness? Reality is much more fluid and mysterious than you might think. Get ready, because we're about to dive into the unknown. Hello, I'm Your Name, and you're on Channel Name, a place where we explore the greatest mysteries of science, philosophy, and the human mind. If you have a thirst for knowledge and want to understand the greatest enigmas of the universe, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our intellectual journeys. And before we continue, comment now. I am part of this transformation to show that you're committed to going beyond the surface of reality. The doubt about what is real has haunted humanity for millennia. From the moment humans began to look at the sky and question the nature of their existence, great thinkers have challenged the idea of what reality is. Take Isaac Newton, for example. He was able to describe the laws of motion and gravity with impressive precision, but he never stopped to question the essence of perception itself. He was so immersed in his mathematics that he never wondered if space and time themselves could be different from what we experience. Albert Einstein, on the other hand, was bolder. He looked at the universe and questioned whether time and space were truly absolute, or if their perception could be shaped by gravity and speed. His theory of relativity showed that time isn't constant and unchanging. It can be curved by gravity. This meant that the very reality Newton described was, in fact, far more flexible than we imagined. But what about human perception? In philosophy, the question of the nature of reality becomes even more complex. The famous philosopher René Descartes, in his work Meditations, argued that the only thing we can be sure of is that we are thinking. He said, "I think, therefore I am." But is thinking enough to guarantee that our existence is real? If the mind is capable of creating such powerful illusions, how can we trust what we perceive as true? And if deep down our perception of reality is nothing but a projection, what does it mean to be real? Are you really seeing the world as it is? Or are you only seeing a version of it filtered through your mind? Imagine a mirror, where your image is only a reflection of your appearance, but it's never your true essence. Is reality in the same way just a reflection of our consciousness? Modern physics, with its concepts of subatomic particles and the workings of the universe, leads us to believe that the reality we live in is far more complex than we imagined. What we see around us is just a small slice of the truth. And if everything we are seeing right now, everything you believe to be real, is just an interpretation, an illusion generated by your mind, what is left of your existence if this is true? With every new advancement in science, we get closer to an answer that simultaneously challenges our understanding and leads us into an existential abyss. Now that we've planted the seed of doubt, let's dive deeper into the mystery. Let's start with neuroscience, which has shown in astonishing ways how our perception of reality is shaped by our brain. Our senses do not capture reality objectively. When you see something, what happens in your mind is not a photograph of the outside world, but an interpretation processed by billions of neurons. The brain is not a simple passive receiver of stimuli. It constantly filters, selects, and organizes sensory information to create a simplified version of the world around you. You never see reality as it truly is. You see it through the prism of your own mind. Therefore, each person experiences a unique version of reality. This raises a fundamental question. If your perception of reality is so filtered, how much can you trust it? Furthermore, we have quantum physics. At the subatomic level, particles do not have a defined position or speed until they are observed. This means that mere observation can fundamentally alter reality. And if our consciousness is somehow shaping the reality around us, Does that mean our perception of the world is what gives shape to this world? In other words, does the act of perceiving make something real? This phenomenon is called the wave function collapse, and it profoundly questions the nature of reality. When we observe something, our mind seems to be shaping it, transforming it into a tangible reality. And the most intriguing part, this theory makes us reflect on the role of the observer. If you weren't there to see a distant star, would it really exist? Or maybe it's just a reflection of your own consciousness, a construct of your mind projected onto the universe. This concept leads us to a disturbing, yet fascinating theory. What if, in fact, our reality is nothing but an illusion, a projection created by our consciousness? Kant, the philosopher, argued that what we call reality is just an interpretation of what is happening around us. This leaves us with a difficult question. If reality isn't objective, but subjective, what are we then? Are we real, or just an echo of our own mind? As we dive deeper, we come across a theory that, at first glance, may seem absurd, but has gained popularity: the simulation theory. According to philosopher Nick Bostrom, we are living in a simulation created by a more advanced civilization. If this theory is true, everything we know, everything we see and feel, is just a set of data processed by a machine. This leads to an even more unsettling question. If we are living in a simulation, to what extent is what we call reality not an illusion, created to keep us trapped in a distorted perception of what is true? But the most disturbing part is that science, through some paradoxes of quantum physics, has shown that, in fact, the world seems to behave in a way that is too strange to be a mere coincidence. The behavior of subatomic particles, the fact that our perception of reality can be shaped by our consciousness, all of this begins to seem like we are living in a much larger construct than we ever imagined. But what about consciousness? What is it really? Are we just a reflection of the electrical activity in our brain? Many neuroscientists believe so. Consciousness, according to some, is nothing but an illusion created by the interaction of billions of neurons. But if that's true, then what are we really? Are we just shadows of our own mind, reflections of a being that never truly existed? It's at this point that philosophy, science, and physics meet, and the answers become more and more elusive. Human consciousness, with all its complexity, is perhaps the greatest mystery of all. Are we authentic realities or just a projection of our own mind, wandering aimlessly? As we reflect on all of this, it's hard not to wonder, what would remain of our reality if it were just a construct? Perhaps what really matters isn't the objective nature of reality, but how we interact with it. Even if our perception of the world isn't absolute, it's still real to us. Maybe in the end, we are just the reflection of our own consciousness, projecting the world around us as a way to understand the chaos. And if that's true, then you are more powerful than you think, because if reality is a construction of the mind, you have the power to shape it, to transform it. If you're able to understand the mechanisms of your mind and perception, you can reconfigure how you see the world. This means that, ultimately, you have control over what you believe is real. Perhaps in the end, the most important thing isn't knowing what is real, but understanding the power you have over what you perceive as real. Your mind could be the key to a new way of living, a new way of understanding the universe. What will you do with this power? Well, that depends on you. If you made it this far, congratulations. You're not an ordinary person, you're someone who dares to question, someone who has the courage to go beyond conventions and search for answers where others fear to tread. Now I want to know from you. Do you believe you are truly real, or are you just a reflection of your own mind? Comment below. I am real, but I can be more, to show that you're ready to go beyond the surface and transform your own perception of reality. Don't forget to watch the next videos we've prepared for you. Click on one of them now and continue this journey of deep discoveries. Congratulations for making it to the end. This means you're a person with an open mind and ready for transformation. See you next time.